esteemed former chiefs, senior veterans, Shri Rajesh Kumar Singh, Deputy Secretary, Dr. Kamath, Chairman DRDO, AVM Golani, DG CAPS, Shri Rajendra Bhatia, President SIDM, distinguished members from the academia and aerospace industry, serving and retired officers of armed forces, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning to all. Actually, standing here in front of this August gathering and talking something is actually what we say in Hindi, Suraj ko diya dikhana. And after having heard what my predecessors have spoken, I don't think I have anything more to say, because the same things that they have said is, I think, in everybody's heart and mind. We all understand the problem. We all understand what is plaguing us. But what we are not able to find is that fine balance of where do we go, what do we do, how do we reach that 2047 target that we have set for ourselves to be totally self-reliant, to be Atmanirbhar in this Amrit Kal. First of all, I must thank DG CAPS for granting me this opportunity to speak my mind here. I have nothing, actually whatever I had jotted down, most of it has already been covered. So I'm going to think aloud. It's not that I'm going to say something which is new. But again, since I have this 10 minutes, I think I must use this to think aloud in front of all of you so that we can generate some discussions later. And also, I must say that we have these seminars, but what comes out of this is very important. Where does it all go? We must generate a document after every seminar and circulate that within the government agency so that everybody comes to know what is the thought process, what are the, there are so many eminent people here sitting today and who will take part in panel discussions. But all that will get into a folder and maybe get printed in some book after a few months and may not be even read because there will be something else going on that time. So I think we must follow this now onwards, that we generate a document which gets circulated to all departments of, all the ministries and departments of government which are concerned with the topic. CAPS, of course, like we all know, has been doing exceptional work in aerospace and strategic studies. They've been pioneering the tenets of research on the tenets of modern warfare and conceptualizing application of airspace power, and also generating a lot of discussions on various other topics. And SIDM has been a stable, very reliable partner of Indian Armed Forces, where they are performing the vital role of the link between the government and the users. Government and the industry, the users and the industry. And they have been, at the forefront of championing the cause of Atmanirbharta. Of course, today, for the first time, a new terminology, of course, Swavalamban I had been hearing, but I always thought Atmanirbharta and Swavalamban is same. But a new sort of angle was given by Shri Bhatia. But we all understand that when we say Atmanirbharta, when we say Swavalamban, we all mean the same thing. It is not that, we are not getting into the finer print of that. If our vision is to be a country, a developed country, a country to reckon with, to find a place in this world in 2047, I think aerospace sector will be a major contributor towards that. And of course, defense, is another sector which requires to be developed. We need to be, we need to have, to be powerful enough to be able to deter our adversaries so that we can concentrate on our progress and growth. So these two sectors are, considered the two pillars. And of course, by launching the C295 at the production facility of C295 at Vadodara, our Honorable PM had also said that defense and aerospace sectors will be the two important pillars which will make India Atmanirbhar. So as far as defense is concerned, we have our concerns from the northern as well as the western adversary. They are all, both of them are increasing their air forces at a very rapid pace, whether it is combat platform, enablers, systems, whether it is networking, whether it is radars and SAGW, whether it is RPS, they are growing at a very rapid pace. And as far as China is concerned, it is not just the numbers. Even the technology is growing at a very rapid pace. We just saw that recent flight of the new generation fighter which they have pulled out, the stealth fighter. So we also heard from other speakers the shortages that we have, the Indian Air Force especially. And the geopolitical situation is such, of course, geopolitics has always been like that, but in recent times we have also again learned that when the chips are down, your so-called friends may not come to your rescue. The only way you can survive in this world is if you can do things yourself. We've been hearing this, God helps those who help themselves. I think we need to go back to that, to start helping ourselves. And for that, Indian Air Force, being the prime user of aerospace power, especially in times of crisis, we need to think, we need to innovate and come up with new ideas. I'm not here to say who has been failing. I think all of us have been failing in not being able to take us to that self-reliant state where we should have been today. We in uniform are no less responsible for this. I have seen myself, I have been a part of the Tejas program. I have seen our own attitude towards that program change from fully with it, putting our heart and soul into it. Then after few years, getting disillusioned with it, that it will not going to reach anywhere. We are not getting our so-called ASR of 80s anywhere close to that. How was that ASR generated? By our own designers and pilots who sat together and on paper generated that we will be able to meet these requirements because we had no experience. The same designers have made the ASR who have come up and said, no, we cannot meet it now, because they never realized that, when you start designing an aeroplane, a lot of new things keep coming up and the weight keeps going up, the drag keeps going up, and you never meet the performance that you calculate on paper. So we went through that phase when we were disillusioned with it. We said, when you meet the ASR, you come back to us. But then again, some things changed and we realized that's the only way forward. And once again, we got into the that mode of fully with it, being fully with it. So we all have been responsible somewhere or the other, and we need to look inwards as to where we could have helped this, or are we helping it now? At least have we learned our lessons from before? It's very easy for anybody to say certain R&D agency is not working, or certain production house is not doing their job. But we don't know what are their constraints. We don't know what are our policies against which, which are causing these constraints. I'm very happy to hear that, today we just heard the Defense Secretary saying that we are going ahead with some reforms where we find that it is hurting. So these things will happen. So what have we done in Air Force? Just, our BRDs have gone into this, if I can call it a mission mode, of indigenization of components. We have more than about 50,000 lines, as I'm told, in various BRDs, which are getting indigenized. Of course, these lines are from a small washer to some subcomponents to a system. We also have numerous contracts placed with the small industry and MSMEs and startups under various schemes, like Meher Baba competition we held for drones, the schemes like IDEX and Aditi. Various MSMEs are involved with space program, as we just heard, and we hope that they will succeed. We have also heard about the new directorate that we opened, Directorate of Aerospace Design, DAD it's known as. So they are doing their bit in helping and liaising with external agencies, especially the private players. They are the ones which are sort of empowering them. We are conducting a lot of these industry outreach programs where we are calling these people and showing them what facilities we have, what access can be given to them in our facilities so that they grow, sort of holding their hands. And apart from that, also, like in Tarang Shakti, on the sidelines of that exercise, we held Deaf Expo, just to project whatever our industrial capability is, and for the foreigners to have a look at it, so that they get a boost in case there are some foreign agencies which are interested. Or at least our own people understand where we are. Critical projects, like I talked about, Tejas, Dhruv, Prachand, projects like Su-30, MKI, indigenous upgrade, of course, LCM Mark II, AMCA. Air Force is supporting these projects, not only just supporting in D&D, not only just supporting in testing and in the design process, but also in ordering this for their own. Because we understand that if we do not support these projects, we will never, because these are the stepping stones. These are the small steps that we are taking. But are these small steps good enough? We've just heard that, shining stars versus a galaxy that we need. Obviously, these steps are not good enough. We need to, much more is desired, especially in niche areas like aero engines, like software designing, SDRs, software radios, the AESA airborne radars, the BVRs, the weapons, long-range weapons, various sensors, UCAVs, hypersonics, semiconductors, and the manufacturing, the metallurgy. So there are a lot of areas which are still lying sort of at a very, very raw stage. Atmanirbharta, it just cannot be a buzzword. It has to be something that everybody has to work towards, everybody has to ride on that. And like I made a statement, I'm reminded of July when I was standing here and, I said that everybody has to be together in it, whole of nation approach. And we heard every time, the same thing we keep hearing. If the users are trying to be Atmanirbhar, then everybody else, the entire environment has to make sure that the user stays on track. That means the user keeps getting what they need. I'm not saying what they desire, what they need. At least that must reach the user, and in time. There are certain concerns. I have, again, like I said, I have jotted down a few concerns. Some of these have been already spoken about, but I will just reiterate. If nothing else, it's for, Group Captain Mahadevan's work, that he doesn't feel offended that मैंने इतना कुछ लिख के दिया इसने बोला नहीं. So now R&D, it loses its relevance if we are not able to meet the timeline. Just as I said, in time is a very important thing. And, we need to give greater leeway to the researchers. There will be failures. Let's not be scared of failures. I think we are losing a lot of time because we are scared of failures. We think too much before we, get on with something. Defense Secretary just talked about it, that how multiple programs are running in some other countries. There's wastage. But the timeline is met. Now, if suppose there is a guest coming home and there is something which suddenly realized that, it is required, I've forgotten to order that. Don't you ring up one shop, don't you send your man Friday, you go somewhere else. Don't you try 3-4 sources straight away? And many times we'll end up with having 2 or 3 of those items in our hand. And we say, chalo, बाकी का क्या करना है बाद में देखेंगे, लेकिन अभी का crisis management हो गया. So defense is one sector where time is very important. If we don't meet that timeline, that technology of no use to me. So we need to learn from our failures, move on, but not be scared of those failures. Funds, we have just heard of, that R&D funds are woefully short. We are just about at 5%, should be at 15%. And we have to make sure that these funds are increased and they are available to private players also. Because when it comes to private industry, they are all there for money. I know it, for them to be in defense sector, something must come from the heart. It cannot always be for the money. But finally, they have to make a viable industry. They have to pay those people who are working for them. So there will be some kind of worry about money and how much money is getting lost in this R&D. So if we want some technology to come up, maybe we will have to fund these. That's why these small schemes have come up. But we need to increase these schemes to even bigger things. Maybe have some competitive approach, as what the Defense Secretary said. Another delay, another issue is the cumbersome process of testing, evaluation, and certification. Again, we, the test pilots, also responsible. We get stuck to one particular thing and just remain there till it moves there. Beyond that, I am not moving. And it is again, something that you learned over a period of time. Whenever you say, okay, I'll accept this much, you find then 10 more things are not given to you because you started accepting. वो सुना है ना एक क्या किनारा पकड़ के और लाइक ऊँट की बात सुनी है कि एक टांग अंदर करता है और धीरे धीरे पूरा अंदर आ जाता है टेंट में. So something like that happens. So once bitten, twice shy. So what I do is, no, till you reach this, till you show me this, I am not going anymore. So there is no parallel approach taking place. And for the private players, there is no place to go. They are too small at times. They are the beginners. They cannot set up all the labs. But the labs which are set up are government-owned and controlled by DRDO or PSUs, and private players are actually their competitors. So they are given a second treatment, stepmotherly treatment. Even the certification agency, finally they are getting controlled by DRDO. Obviously, little bit of inclination will be there more towards a DRDO lab than towards a private player. So this is something that we need to think about. Capacity building, we discussed about that. We need to increase our capacity. Again, when do we need the capacity? I may not need it throughout, but I'll need it in spurts. So we need to have that capacity. We need to be flexible in that. So production agencies have to invest in their advanced manufacturing processes so that the speed can increase. Upskilling their manpower, and whatever they do, the scale of production has to go up. In Tejas, we started inducting in 2016. 2016. Actually, we should go back to 1984 when we conceived that aircraft. First aircraft flew in 2001, 17 years. Then the induction started another 15 years later, 2016. Today we are in 2024. I do not have the first 40 aircraft also. So this is the production capability. We need to do something. And I am very convinced that we need to get some private players in. We need to have competition. We need to have multiple sources available so that people are wary of losing their orders, that we may not get the next order. Otherwise, things will not change. Government has done their part. These DPMs, DPP exist, and we've just heard the DefSec saying that he already convinced that we need to evolve, we need to change. Obviously, nothing can be permanent. As the things change, we have to keep evolving ourselves and these policies. This is a year of reforms for defense, for Ministry of Defense. I'm sure we will see some good reforms coming our way. And all these various schemes that I talked about, are going to help the industry, the private industry come up. But we all understand that Atmanirbharta cannot be achieved overnight. We can't say that I want to be Atmanirbhar and tomorrow I will have everything being designed, developed, manufactured within the country. It is a slow process. It is a painful process. But are we in mission mode towards it? Are we working in mission mode, what we call mission mode? I don't see that energy, whether with us or with the designers or with the manufacturer. That energy has to come in from somewhere. So we need to, identify how do we get on this Atmanirbhar track. I think the only way to do it is parallel processing. It has to be a parallel approach. We can't say that tomorrow onwards I will not buy anything. It has been again alluded by even Defense Secretary, Chairman DRDO, everybody is saying that. But we need to identify correctly. What is it? What is happening is, what do I identify as my next R&D target? Some low-hanging fruits. And what I develop, what I make is available at 5 places in the world. So do I need to put my resources there? Or should I go it for some niche technology which no other country will share with me? We need to think about it. Some short-term solutions, because if we are well short of our kitty, if we are becoming, to remain relevant or potent enough to deter, I need certain things, then I need to maybe purchase certain things outright from the market, what is available. Of course, that also comes with a cost because I will be relying on that manufacturer for maintenance, for support, for everything. So second option is, if we are a big enough buyer, somebody will say, I will transfer the technology of manufacturing and we'll make it India. People are ready to even say that we will not only make in India, we will sell from India. We will set up such big facilities here. If that is available, we need to follow that track for certain purchases. And of course, certain technologies, like I said, which are niche technologies, where we know that nobody will share with us, we need to continue with our R&D effort, and again, need to be in mission mode. And technology is changing very fast. If you don't, don't be fast enough in developing those, you miss the bus. Then you'll be chasing another one. So, if I can sum it up, we've heard about the domestic absorption capability, that we do not have the domestic market to be able to make those numbers which will be viable financially. I would like to say that let's not become Atmanirbhar because we want to save money. Let's become Atmanirbhar from strategic point of view, that I need to be self-reliant and I'm ready to pay for it. Even if I'm paying more for an indigenous product, because there is R&D cost which needs to be amortized, because the numbers are not that large, because there is no export market for the time being. But still, let's go for that. So we will end up paying more, and we should not be shy of that. And so, money-wise, like DefSec said, there is no shortage of money. We find it difficult to even spend the budget that we have. And another thing is that technology has to come up, that has to come in time. Because according to me, technology delayed is technology denied. We cannot afford to be, just lingering on, and something which comes up, and by the time it comes up for the user to use, it is irrelevant because there's something else much bigger, much better available with the adversary. There was one, statement we used to say earlier, that कोई बात अगर डिफ़िकल्ट नहीं होती थी वैसे थे ये कोई रॉकेट साइंस थोड़ी है. आई एम श्योर, आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ अस हैव हर्ड इट, बट आई थिंक in rocket science, India has done very well. So for Indians, we should not be making that statement. I think we should be saying ये कोई aircraft science थोड़ी है. Just in lighter vein. But I'm sure the discussion today involving so many bright minds, from the users, academia, the practitioners, the aerospace industry, the DRDO, everybody is here. And these discussions will bring out something, which will help us grow and go on the right path to help us invigorate this whole system of Atmanirbharta and help us stay on track for our final goal of being fully self-reliant by 2047. My compliments again to CAPS and SIDM for organizing this, and my best wishes for all the speakers and panelists for this seminar today. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. Jai Hind.